Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ring Post Report livecast. I am your host, Sean Wilson, and as always, I am joined by Steve Tillman. What's up, Steve?
What's going on?
How's it going, man?
Ready? Not bad. I'm ready to get this talk on about Night of Champions, man.
Night
What a
of
trip.
Champions, man. Um, yeah, so if you guys notice, if you're watching live, you notice I kind of got some redness here in the eyes. I had a ridiculously bad allergic reaction to some ragweed here in the local area, and it has been kicking my butt this week. So that is why my eye looks like I got in a fight with Brock Lesnar, and why I kind of sound congested. But yeah, dude, Night of Champions. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought the card. I thought it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well done, and I think we should dive into it. You want to do that?
Yeah, man. I do wanna start with the low points though, because man, there was a couple. There was some bad ones.
Yeah. So do you want to go through the card, or you want to talk about it just in general?
We can go through the card.
Cool. Let's go through the card. Let me pull it up. Of course, I I honestly didn't get to see the pre-show. Did you happen to watch the pre-show?
I did. I
What did you
did.
think of that match?
Yep. They had started with Cosmic Wasteland versus um, who were they? Oh man, I don't remember who they faced.
Neville
Long
and
time.
Lucha Dragons.
That's right. Yep.
Was it a good
Yeah,
match?
it was a pretty good match, man. There was a lot of high flying, um, a lot of Stardust being Stardust, hissing and spitting on people. But um, Cosmic Wasteland, man, they're kicking into high gear. They got this real stupid, funny, fun to watch thing going on that just makes you just can't look away. And they got some mean double team moves too, especially with just the Ascension. They have their finisher is pretty mean looking.
I'm really into right now the Ascension, mainly because I watched about 3 episodes of that show Swerved on the network, and they were on there, and those guys are great. I like this kind of cool, weird getup they've got going with Stardust right now. I think it's good. I think it fits kind of like just a little niche where you don't really know where to fit them and what to do with it. So yeah, I thought it was a good kind of pre-show match to get the fans, kind of rolled over. I didn't get to really see it, but I've heard a lot of good things about the match. I heard it went well.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was a good match. A lot of high flying. The Lucha Dragons did a good job. I think Sin Cara dropped the ball a lot during the match, but overall though, man, it was a solid match, and it was a good starter. I think they did well. I think they could have been on the main show and probably put Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose on the starter, the pre-show. But
Oh, really? Whoa.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah. So I was a little bit, I was a little bit shocked going into the show that the John Cena Seth Rollins match was not first. I fully anticipated that being the first match. Nice swerve by the WWE because I didn't see that coming. Um, but the match that was first, the Intercontinental match, I thought was good. I thought it allowed Kevin Owens to kind of play to some of the strengths that Ryback has. I'm not saying Ryback is really all that great. I think he's just your typical muscle guy. Um, but I'm
definitely.
glad Seth, I mean not Seth. I'm glad Kevin Owens won that match. I like that he won it in a roll up. It was kind of dirty. It's very Kevin Owens like of a win. So I thought it was good for him. I think he's the one that actually deserves it. I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. He needs a good run as the Intercontinental or U.S. champion uh, to really kind of solidify that mid card slash main event heel that the WWE is looking for.
Definitely, man. I feel like the Intercontinental Championship, if you go in the order of titles, should be above the U.S. title. And if anybody's going to put that title where it needs to be, it's going to be Owens, just because the way that he plays the heel, like we talked about, he gets personal, he gets in your face, and then he backs it up in the ring, and he just plays dirty. He takes you out, and he just is completely relentless. I mean, he took out Ryback's arm to the point where you could tell watching the match it was swollen. I mean, he just destroyed him, and then he raked the eyes, took the win, man. It was great.
Yeah,
Fight Owens, fight. Ugh.
I think Owens is a fantastic wrestler. I think he's fantastic heel. He's most certainly um, in the top three of best heels in the company right now. So yeah, I thought it was a good match. It was not like a technical. I mean, I wouldn't give it 4 ring posts. I wouldn't give it 5 stars. It was a match.
No.
Wasn't fantastic. I didn't expect it to be fantastic. Um, because I just don't think Ryback is he's a good in the sense of that he's got some appeal to the young kids, but he's never, ever, ever going to be that guy you're going to go to as, hey, this is the face of the company and we're going to put the title on him. So, you know,
No, and I feel like that's kind of his fault though. If you look at Ryback and the way that he started, no, not started, but the way he came as Ryback, he kind of came as that super dopey, just really big buff muscle guy that could only say like 5 words: "Feed me more, finish it, it's feeding time." And then he decided to start going and talking, and he's a good mid card guy, but he's not a title run guy. At
yeah,
least not right now. He's not.
I do love the fact that they really played up
Say
the
that
whole
again.
this. I said I really do love the fact that they played up the secret and how much like Owens just brutalized him on that. And then even the commentators, which I thought did really well during the show, talking about that, going back and forth of how it meant so much to Ryback. It was one of those quick matches. It was a fun match. I got it. I was glad to see Owens get over. It wasn't a fantastic match. I hope there's not a repeat in the next pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell. So, you know, I don't know. It was good for what it was. I'm willing to, roll with it.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I think it's gonna be a great it's gonna be a great uh, platform to build a good storyline and to elevate the IC title where it needs to be. And I think if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Owens. He's gonna blow it up just like Cena did with the US title.
Yeah, I would love to see um, Owens do something similar to uh, to Cena with that U.S. title. That would just kind of like the anti Cena with the Intercontinental title. I think that would be very cool. Next match on the card: Dolph Ziggler, Rusev. This I think we talked about this. This
Uh,
feud has kind of run its course. I honestly don't even remember who won. Like that's how little I paid attention to that match.
yeah, I don't either. And to quote my buddy Andy from work, it's like an E News special that spilled over into a Jerry Springer type thing, and it was so bad, and it's just not going anywhere. It's stalled out, and they've made Rusev a chump from when he started. He was unstoppable. He beat everybody, and now he can't even beat Dolph Ziggler, which in my opinion is a complete backwards turn from where he was.
Yeah.
He took out Cena, he took out everybody, and then all of a sudden he can't even take out an exhibition match against Dolph because of the girls they're fighting over. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's actually Dolph Ziggler won the match. I anticipate that being the end of the feud. There's no reason to keep it going. So I don't. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
match.
I
It was fun. I mean, I thought it was entertaining. But again, I wouldn't put it, top of the
right,
card.
and I think it's nearing its end. In fact, if you watched Raw on Monday, it was Rusev with New Day versus Dolph and the Dudleys, and it was a good match. I mean, Dolph landed a nasty looking super kick right into Rufio and knocked him out. It was great.
Speaking of which, the next match was the Dudley Boys versus New Day. I will say this: um, New Day is just fantastic. Their whole gimmick, their whole adopting of the gimmick that was essentially a gospel, like self-help, like you can do it kind of gimmick that was supposed to be face. They were supposed to be good guys. They got booed out of the building. Very similar to the whole, die Rocky die with Rocky Maivia before The Rock became The Rock. Um, I love their character, and Xavier Woods is amazing on the mic. That dude is just fantastic, and they have made this really crappy gimmick into something that's really gotten them over, and I just love it. I think it's fun, it's entertaining, it's hilarious most of the time, and you you kind of see like these different dimensions of like Kofi Kingston, and I mean, Biggie Langston. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you need to because he's freaking hilarious. But I love this run. I thought this match was fun. I thought it was entertaining. It it was. I love the whole like save the tables campaign, and then at the end they're gonna try to like put one of them through the table. This is great. So overall, I thought it was fun, enjoyable. I'm glad that the Dudleys lost because I think they're there more to enhance the talent than they are to run as champions. Uh, but man, that match, I thought that match was one of the most fun tag team matches I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, not only was it really great, but the fact that what you said, the Dudleys are being used as a tool to put teams over, as opposed to what Sting was supposed to have done, with winning the title, it just makes sense. They're elevating them. It's like everybody's favorite heel turn good guys versus everybody's least favorite face turns into the best heels. And like you said, man, Xavier Woods is a mic master, man. He gets on the mic and he's gold. I mean, it was just great, man. So good.
Yeah, it was really fun. I love the end of it. I love the horn blowing during the match, and I mean, those guys, they need to run
Yes.
with those titles for a while. That was just, they're really good. They're fun. They're It's kind of what rest. There's those guys on the show that are fun, and that's what kind of every time they come out, like Santino Marella. I actually love that guy because every
Yeah.
time he comes out, he's fun, he's entertaining, and he makes the match. Everyone, I think, sometimes forgets, especially in the internet wrestling community, that we're all suspending our belief that this is all real. Now, granted, I know that it's scripted and that these guys are really taking the bumps and they're really, you know, all of that. But we know that a figure four leg lock is not going to cause immense pain. We know some of these moves are, you know, they're made to look worse than they really are. And then there's those guys who have these ridiculous gimmicks of like a cobra, and those are awesome, and they make wrestling entertaining and fun. It doesn't always have to be serious about, I'm going to break down the card and this is what it needs to be. Um, I love the New Day. I hope they continue this. It's just fun. It's entertaining. The horn, the trumpet, the Save the Tables campaign. It was just a really good
Man,
match, a really fun, enjoyable match. Uh, and I hope they keep going with some of the other guys, other tag teams. There's just so much they could do as champions to enhance the tag team division that I don't think they could do with not being the champions.
right, yeah. And as far as their gimmick goes, I had to go back on that real quick because on Monday night they came out and Xavier Woods was limping out and barely blowing his horn, and just to make it a lighter situation, he had a piece of wood in a bag and he said, "I had to get this removed from my rectum, this piece of wood," and it was like the size of an iPad, man. It was a huge piece of wood. It was just hilarious, and I mean, he sold it well. And like you said, the tag team division really needs to be rebuilt. A lot of the attention has gone to the WWE title, the World Heavyweight title, and then they combined them, and like the tag team championship just kind of fell off. I mean, that used to be a big deal, when the Hardys and the Dudleys and Evolution was going after it for a little while. I mean, it just everybody wanted to be tag team champions, and it was as equally as important as the WWE title. And now, I mean, it's thrown around. Nobody really ran with it, and then you got New Day, who has these belts, and they're running with it, and they're building that title, and they're building the feel. You're like, yes, tag team match, awesome, because it used to be like a Divas match almost. Oh, great, tag team match. I'm gonna go use the bathroom and grab some food real quick,
Yeah.
or you'd fast forward through it if you recorded it. And now when New Day comes out, I'm like, all right, cool, let's see what happens. Maybe he's gonna get that horn broke over his head finally. Maybe he's gonna use it to distract somebody. He's gonna, whatever. And it's just so much fun. A lot of fun. Love New Day. I hate them, but I love them.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what they're there to do, and they're doing it really, really well. I agree with you. I think, and I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, where I think the WWE needs to broaden their tag team division and include NXT in it. Um, Even not necessarily to get rid of the NXT titles. I like that there's an NXT title and there's a WWE tag team title, um, but to have the different tag teams intermingle within both. I think that adds to the enhancement. Or you really do get rid of one of the titles and you make where whoever the tag team champion is can defend it live on TV and then can go to NXT and defend it as well. It would broaden. I mean, because there's some really good tag teams. I think Ascension is really good. I love the New Day. Primetime Players is great. There's Blake and Murphy down in NXT.
Right,
Um,
right.
God, who the champs now? The Vaudevillains, and those guys
The
are great.
Vaudevillains, those guys are
Um,
awesome, man. You know, right now WWE is sitting on, which just like with a lot of their other titles, they're sitting on a really good platform right now to there where they could build up the tag team division to where it's previous glory. You know, like you said, you got Ascension, Primetime Players, and New Day. You have those three gimmicks that are awesome. They work well, and they all counteract each other. You know, you have the New Day, which is super optimistic, but yet just total a-holes. You have the Primetime Players, which is kind of like they're kind of like your heavy hitters. You know, they're in your face. They manhandle people, but they're fun to watch wrestle. Then you have the Ascension, which kind of have the Road Warriors feel, but they're starting to get aggressive. They're fun to watch. And then, like you said, you have the NXT guys, the Vaudevillain. I love those guys. Their entrance is phenomenal. Their performance is fantastic. Their moves are solid. You know, they could move them up and they could build this into something huge. I mean, I would love to see, like a tornado tag, 2-on-2-on-2-on-2, four teams go at it, but four dynamically different teams. So when you're watching this, you just don't know what's going to happen.
yeah, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, there's also of course the Lucha Dragons. They just got so much to pick from. I mean, you
Hmm.
could reunite Gold Dust and Stardust. It'd be a fantastic thing to do. I mean, there's just so much you could do for these guys to make them more of a centerpiece on the program. And hopefully, and
Right.
then of course you have the Dudleys. I mean, you could do that as well. And there's rumors, there are rumors, that Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are in talks with the WWE. Um,
Right. Right. If you
that would be interesting. I myself am not a big fan of the Hardy Boys, but you
oh
know what? They're entertaining.
oh
So
we're gonna fight over that, man. But no, look, by the way, you want to follow latest rumors? Follow the Ring Post Report on Twitter and Facebook. All the stuff gets put there, so you don't have to surf on Facebook all day, unless you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, as far as that goes, though, there's a couple tag teams that are kind of like I love the Lucha Dragons, but like I said, Sin Cara's, I haven't really his performance lately has just been kind of subpar. Something not only myself noticed, but people I converse about wrestling with all the time. It's his performance has been, but what they could do is, maybe bring back the cruiserweight title. You know, try to get these people that are kind of straggling with the tag teams and get them out of the way so they can build the tag team division up, and then put these other guys in, in competition for another title. Because I feel like there's not enough titles anymore, especially with the
what?
size of the roster.
Not enough titles. There's four major titles. I just
Well,
don't
there's
think they play with
two
them right. I
major
don't think they
titles.
book the. I just don't think they book them right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that could be the case, but there's just, I don't know. I guess it's
I
just
mean,
they
I
don't have
think
enough
you
people
have
involved in them.
here's the order of the titles. Of course, you have the tag team. I think the tag team division should be separate and be a tag team division, which means this: the tag team, the tag teams fight the tag teams unless there's an injury and they have to do something else. So they don't ever have one-on-one matches with random people like Randy Orton or Sheamus. They're just totally, and then you don't have these random, pairings like Randy Orton and Sheamus coming together to form a tag team. It's just a tag team division. Then you have the Intercontinental U.S. Personally, and I agree with you on this, I think the Intercontinental title should be above the U.S. title. So I think the U.S. title should be that more bottom mid card, almost
Hmm.
like almost like your cruiserweight, but like that one title where guys like Zack Ryder or Heath Slater are going to get, Fandango can run with. They're not in the mid card totally. They're kind of mid to bottom. They're kind of the curtain jerkers. Um, so yes, I mean then you have the Intercontinental title, which is the title that these guys kind of float in between the main event and the mid card. So they have it occasionally. Occasionally, you'll see the Intercontinental Champion fight the World Champion, but there's kind of that back and forth. And of course, you got the World Champion, which I think the World Champion should never defend his title live on TV on a Monday night or a SmackDown. It should only be on
No.
pay per view. And or is it even called pay per view anymore? I don't even think it is. But anyway,
Uh,
only at a special
yeah.
event. And then you know, really, I liked when who was it? Frick, the big guy, Brock Lesnar. When he had it, he was off TV for a long time. I mean, it was like a month almost. I like that because it adds value to the world title, and it made the whole John Cena doing the U.S. title run look good. So I would be okay with Seth Rollins not being on TV all the time, or not wrestling all the time on TV, just coming out, squawking his mouth and then walking out. So
Right. Well, I mean, as far as that goes, going back to when you said that, they're not playing the titles right. When you have, and this is again something, something we talked about at work with my buddy Andy, the way they have like the titles fighting each other. To me, that doesn't make sense, because they're leaving out all these people who could potentially be fighting for number one contender. They're fighting for, they're leaving out all these people who could be working their way up to a title shot. You have Cena and Rollins. Okay, they're both fantastic wrestlers. Awesome. Then you have them fighting against each other so they can, one person's trying to keep one title, the other person's trying to obtain two. And then you have, like you said, Rollins always on TV, always wrestling for a title, basically making his title, him holding the title, just not look like a huge deal because, like you said, he's defending it constantly.
right.
So I mean, it just all plays into just bad writing. I mean, they need to spread it out a bit and help groom the talent that they have to possible main eventers.
Yeah, I would even be okay with them combining the U.S. and Intercontinental because they're essentially the same title if you look at them up, and adding like a television
Right.
title that I always liked the television title. Well, back in WCW, the NWA, I thought it was a great title simply because it was the only title defended every time they were on TV. So every week you knew there was going to be at least one title match, and it needed to be the television title. And it often would go 3 or 4 weeks, and it would drop it to someone else. It it was one of those titles that would be. It's okay to switch it around a lot because you just it it's just one of those kind of, not a throwaway title, but one of those titles that is made for TV, I guess, where it kind of draws things. And occasionally you'd have the big names come in and fight for the TV title. I really wish the WWE would do that. I don't see that happening, but I would love for it to happen. That would be it's just because I think you're trying to get John Cena to elevate the U.S. title. Now you have Kevin Owens trying to elevate the Intercontinental title. Then you have Seth Rollins elevating the world title, and sooner or later they're all going to become equal and then meaningless. So make one title the world, and only main event guys can defend it or fight for it. The Intercontinental title be strictly mid card, main event. Guys will fight for it, and then the TV title is all your jobbers, your guys who your Fandangos, your Zack Ryders, your whoever else is jobbing right now. I don't know. Dolph Ziggler, I
Right.
guess would be a good one.
Right.
So that's my thoughts on that. Speaking of which, we forgot. Of course, there is the women's divas title. Of course, that was defended. Charlotte, of course, beat Nikki Bella. That was actually an exceptionally long divas match. It was 12 minutes 47 seconds, straight
Mm-hmm.
up. And we were talking about this before. I thought Charlotte hurt her knee in the middle of that match or beginning of that match. If she didn't, she sold it really, really well because there's that one moment where she looked at the ref like something's wrong. I don't know what happened. My knee, and she limped around the rest of the match. I mean, I thought
Mm-hmm.
they're going to call this match because something's wrong. It wasn't the best divas match. I mean, look who was in it. Nikki Bella. And while
Right.
Nikki Bella has improved over the years, she's not on par with Charlotte or Paige or Sasha Banks or Becky
No.
Lynch. So I'm glad the title's not on her anymore. Hopefully, it will not go back anytime soon. and we'll start to see kind of the Divas, division get a little bit better. What were your thoughts on that?
Right.
While I take a drink of water.
Well, well, it was nice to see a Divas match that I didn't have to turn or fast forward for. You know, NXT Takeover's Divas match was by far the best Divas match of the year.
Oh
But
yeah,
this was a close second. I mean,
a
as far as
close
main roster
second.
WWEs, it was a close second, only because of Charlotte.
Okay, okay.
Only
Wait,
because of
wait.
Charlotte.
You're gonna
Because,
put
well, I mean, it was
you're gonna put what the best match on the NXT card from last month, best match on the card, and you're gonna put it beside this one? Really?
well. What else do I have to choose from? These are the only two good matches of the year. By default, it's a close second.
If you consider, okay, I'll give you a close second. If you consider Pluto being close to the sun, I'll consider it a close second. That's about it.
Well, it would be a close second if all there was Mercury and Pluto.
Okay, okay. I just don't see that. Not even.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't think it was. It was a. It was an okay match for what it was.
I think
I don't.
I
I,
think
I
for
think you could take any NXT women's match. I mean, like we literally could pull up the network right now. Maybe we should do that, and we pull it up and pull any Divas match in the last 6 months, not including the takeover match, and it would be better than that match.
eh, maybe. Maybe. But like I said though, I
Maybe.
mean you're picking one dead fish from 30 dead fish. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I got, man. It's
That's all we
Divas.
got.
What
Okay.
can we do?
Yeah.
It's
What can we do?
Divas.
It's the Divas, right? Yeah, and you're right. It's the Divas. So what does it matter? It doesn't
We
matter.
just argued. We just argued about a Divas match. We've got to reevaluate some things.
All I care about, and I'm glad, and I wish I could troll Gary about this, is that AJ Lee is no longer the longest reigning Divas champion. I mean, that was on purpose. They did that on purpose.
Oh yeah, just to
Because
just
there's
to.
no way the WWE wants CM Punk's wife to be the longest reigning Divas champion.
Of course not. Of course
It's
not.
bad for business.
Bad for business.
Because Gary totally marks out to AJ Lee. He's like she's the best ever. Not even close.
No, no, not even close.
See,
She was
see,
pretty.
see.
She was pretty. That's all she had going for her.
She was pretty boring.
That's true. I watched her
All right.
live at
She
SmackDown.
was unbelievable. So
SmackDown
okay,
was
let's
freaking good.
I want to sit here for a second, real quick. The reason I've never ever, beside the fact, granted, she was pretty, like she was really good looking, but she was not believable, and it's very similar to the fact that Rey Mysterio beating Big Show for the title, or Rey Mysterio beating anybody larger than Sin Cara for the title was not believable because it's Rey Mysterio. He's like smaller than my wife. Okay, he's like 5'1" and a buck 50. Okay, he's really small, except when he roided up, and he did roid up. She's very similar. She's like 95 pounds, 5'1". She's not believable against Natalia or Beth Phoenix or even Nikki or Brie Bella. They're bigger, stronger than she is. It's not believable. Or Paige, for that matter. Paige has been wrestling since she was 13. Come on, it's not even believable. So I've never really bought into the whole thing or there.
No.
All right, next match. Wyatt family and Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and the surprise entrance of Chris Jericho. What was your thoughts on the Chris Jericho?
That match.
Did you mark out?
It was by far the most disappointing, hyped up match ever.
Thank you.
I mean, the rumor mill was more exciting than the actual match. I mean, there was rumors going around it was going to be Samoa Joe, Kane, Eric Rowan, maybe The Rock.
The Rock.
Just some of the biggest names. And then you get Chris freaking Jericho. You get
I
flabby Y2J because he's coming to take the pin. That's the only reason he was there.
Yeah, I agree. When I mean I get it in the storyline sense that they had some history with the Wyatt family. Jericho does, but I was like, really, Jericho? Like that's your dude?
Such a bad choice, man.
I'll be honest with you. The last three times Jericho has returned to the WWE has been completely and totally flat for me. I like Jericho. I like Jericho a lot, but it's just like, dude, you're like
It
that
was just
guy that just won't go away.
he's about he is Cena in another 2 years.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. I could see Cena being here in 2 years. Here's my issue, and I had this with The Rock, and a lot of people, got on my case about it. I'm all fine for people, wrestlers, going off and doing their thing in other industries because, I mean, you only have a shelf life in pro wrestling for for a certain amount of time, so it's always good to have a backup plan. What I'm not okay
Right.
with is for them to come back and be like, I'm here, and I'm here to stay. This is my home. WWE all the way. WWE Universe. Let's do this. And then 2 weeks later, they're gone for another 2 years. I mean, like, that's just a ratings boost. I mean, it's cool to see the guys come in. When I was at WrestleMania 30, to have Hogan, to have The Rock and Stone Cold come out, it was unbelievably amazing. It was cool when I went to Elimination Chamber a couple of years ago, and it was Punk and Rock. It was great, but I'm not interested in seeing The Rock right now. I mean, I'm interested to go see his
No.
new movie, but I'm not interested in seeing him in the WWE. I don't need to see him. I don't need to see Chris Jericho because I'm already seeing him on Tough Enough. I've already seen him on whatever other thing they're doing, and all I see him about is his podcast or his band. All great, but he's kind of past his thing. I mean, like, cool. Bring him back for like the Rumble. That would be cool. And then boom, I don't need to see him again for another year at the Rumble. That's fine with me. I don't care. I just thought it was very
Right.
disappointing because they hyped it up like, oh man, the guy who's coming. Like, because remember too, they're hyping him up against Braun. I mean, this guy's a freaking. That dude. That dude makes Roman Reigns look small, and Roman Reigns is a big dude. And you're gonna
He's
bring out
he's
Chris.
a
You're gonna bring out Chris Jericho.
yeah,
I didn't get it.
that was my concern, man, was you have this new guy, Braun Strowman. This dude, 385 pounds. He's like 6'12", 6'11", 7 foot, 8 foot. This dude's
He's
just a
huge.
monster. And I mean, Ambrose and Reigns couldn't take him down off his feet for anything. And we're thinking, okay, they're gonna bring in somebody who can match his size, match his power. And it was such a letdown in so many ways. I almost just like did something else till the match was over. It was so boring. It was
And
the
the
most
match
boring
wasn't
match
even
I've
all that
seen. No, it was bad. I mean, I'd rather have went back and watched the Divas match a second time.
good. Oh, that's low. And the ending was very like, okay. And then Jericho gets all pissy about it and walks off. I mean, like, okay, are they going to build a card around that? No. It's going to be
No,
this Jericho got pissed and walked out. It's stupid.
yeah, and see that was my thing was I thought okay, Jericho lost, Ambrose got mad about it. They're gonna feud it out on come Raw. Jericho's nowhere to be seen, nowhere.
It would have been awesome for Ambrose to just slap the crap out of him. I would have loved to seen that.
Right.
I think the crowd would have popped pretty hard for that, but nothing.
And
Whatever. It was kind of dumb.
my biggest pet peeve about the entire thing was they bring Jericho out for the pay per view, but then Monday they bring in Randy Orton to fight alongside them. That should have been their mystery partner. That would have made the match fun.
Yeah, and then there's the history there. I mean, Jericho or Orton was, a couple of Mondays ago knocked out by the Wyatt family, so that would have made sense. But you know,
Hmm.
WWE isn't
And
known for making sense lately.
it's true. And you know Monday's little feud with Orton involved was 10 times better than the match. I mean, him and Ambrose were dropping drop kicks on this dude, throwing him over the ropes. I mean, they were manhandling Braun Strowman. But then the pay per view was so lackluster. It was just so bad. I'm
Yeah.
done talking about it. I'm gonna cry.
Go back to the next match. I do like how the WWE did. the um, the two title matches, the U.S. title and the world title. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for saying this, but it was a smart move on the WWE's part to put the title back on Cena. Even though going into it, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't know if it was a good idea. Looking back at it, if you think the last month, what have you been talking about? We've been talking about the WWE Championship. We've kind of forgotten that Seth Rollins had the U.S. title. At one point, everyone was talking about the fact that one, Seth Rollins had cashed in his money in the bank at Mania and was now the world champion, and two, that John Cena had this open challenge every week that was drawing a lot of attention to the belt. That went away after SummerSlam, and I think it was a good move by the WWE to put the title back on Cena. Um, how they're going to go forward with this, I'm not really sure, and I honestly didn't catch Raw, so you're going to have to fill me in on that. On how did that?
Well,
Did they even talk about it?
they did a rematch. Kane showed up. They did a rematch with Cena and Rollins. So change the record. Same match we've been seeing. Cena retained the title, obviously, um, and then and that was pretty much it as far as the U.S. title. They didn't do any new story. They didn't start a new story. They just kind of left it at, okay, Cena's got the belt, done, Dunzo, he's out of there. Didn't talk about him again the rest of the night. Um, yeah, I mean that's all they did with him.
Okay,
They left it at that. So they left it pretty flat. I mean, well, open ended, I should say. They left it open ended. So hopefully
I did read.
we'll we'll see somebody hopefully coming up for this title soon.
Yeah, I did read that there's a rematch scheduled for Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell, which would be interesting. Um, how they're going to do that? Or no, I'm sorry, it's not Hell in a Cell. It's the Saturday special event that's only on the network, which is in
Well,
like 2 weeks.
right. It's part of the Hell in a Cell tour that they're
Yes, yeah,
doing.
yeah. Which was okay. So yeah, we're gonna have to jump on that soon. They announced the next match between Undertaker and Lesnar is going to be a Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell. That's huge news.
That's going to be an intense match, but I feel like it's going to be the death of Undertaker.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, if it's going to be, if that's his last ride, no pun intended, um, it would be a good way to go out. Hell in a Cell. What would be on top of that, make it even cooler if it was a Hell in a Cell casket match? Boom, buries him, and then what do they used to have those burial matches or whatever? Do they have? Yeah, they had that,
Oh,
right?
buried alive match.
Buried
Buried alive
alive. So
match.
it's a Hell in a Cell casket buried alive match.
That would be
that
intense.
would kick butt. So you would have
That would be
essentially
awesome.
Lesnar completely murders the Undertaker, puts him in a casket, wheels him out to the entranceway, buries him. Boom! Undertaker never comes back. We never hear from him again.
Yep, until he's inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Even then, he doesn't show up. Just the
Nope, just
mist,
an urn,
and
and
then the and
just an
then
urn
the
and
like,
mist.
yeah, it just disappears. Anyway, so
Now,
Seth Rollins,
now,
Sting, huh?
oh, go ahead. We
I
can jump
just
on
thought
that.
I liked first off the John Cena Seth Rollins match was fantastic. I thought it was a really well done. The match was great. Those guys worked together really well, um, and they're going to have a really good feud for the world title. I think very soon. I liked how the transition to the next match was Rollins like, screw this, I'm out. I'm not doing that. Cena stops him, throws him in the ring, and then Sting comes out. I honestly thought the Sting Rollins match was really good. I think Sting looked really good for being a 56-year-old guy fighting a 26, 27-year-old, 28-year-old, however old Seth Rollins is. Um,
29.
Granted, in the middle of the match, Sting sustains this like almost career-ending injury. Um, and if you watch the show, you know what happened there. And he, of course, followed up. Um, I thought the match was good. I thought it was a really well done match. It was really well paced. I thought Sting looked good. I thought Rollins did really well. And I was happy with the ending. I think they did really well at the ending. I hope there's something in the future for them to kind of go back with. I don't know if that's the case with this injury with Sting. I think he's going to be out for a while. But what were your thoughts on that match?
Well, I liked the match. I think it was well structured. I think the pace was good. Sting kept an amazing pace with Seth Rollins. You know, if you remember watching Sting and Triple H fight, it was a slower match. They took their time. They hurt each other, but they took their time. This match was faster paced. They went at it. You know, Rollins did everything he would do to any other opponent to Sting. Sting was coming right back at him. I mean, it was a solid match. I liked it. I got worried about Sting after that turnbuckle hit that he took, um, but overall, it was a good match. I liked it.
Yeah, it was really. I thought the pace of that match was fantastic. I think both guys did really well. Um, it was interesting because at first, when the injury happened, I mean, I noticed it, but he kind of played it off really well. And then when he went for the clothesline and he ducked under and he collapsed, I was like, "Ooh, something's really. There's a real issue here." Um,
Right.
I was when I was watching, I was talking to my wife, and I told her, I said, I love how the WWE trains the wrestlers that when there is an injury and it seems to be significant, that their automatic response is to play to the crowd and to kind of build heat in order for the camera and the attention of the crowd to get away from what's going on, with the injured wrestler and kind of focus on this guy screaming about how awesome he is. And Seth Rollins did that perfectly. As a guy who's played sports and have seen people get injured or has been involved in an injury in a sport, it can be very distressing, especially in that kind of environment for someone who's in this match with an idol, thinking that he may have injured him or hurt him really bad. I thought Rollins did really well. He handled the situation perfectly. WWE handled it really well, and hopefully, obviously, I hope Sting gets well soon. He did release. WWE did an interview with him earlier today. They released it on WWE.com, which we've posted on Facebook. You can check it out on our Facebook page. Um, I don't know what they're going to do here, um, because I think Sting's kind of done for a while. They're going to be very leery about him getting back in the ring, being as old as he is. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I enjoyed the match. It was very fun for me to watch Sting wrestle at that pace in a match that, I'll be honest with you, there was a couple times I thought he's going to win this match. And there's parts of me that wanted him to because it would just be nostalgic. It would be cool to see the Sting holding up the WWE title. Um, we'll see. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
Well, I feel like their plan was definitely to give Sting the title just so he could have that one title that's always eluded him. And I would have loved to see that happen, to see him hoist the WWE World Heavyweight title in a
So do you
WWE
think
ring.
that they changed it mid-match because of the injury?
I do, I
Really?
do.
Oh,
I
wow.
think they made my my theory is that when he collapsed, they called for the match to be ended as soon as possible, and that's why I think he won with a small package pin because they needed to end it, get it done. Because I feel like that match could have went on another 15 minutes, honestly. With the pace they were going, they both looked really well, and then after that turnbuckle hit, everything turned. And that pace, it was like a screeching halt, and you could tell he was hurt. And I feel like they needed to end it to make sure he was not hurt more than he already was.
Yeah, and that's interesting because yeah, you bring up a really good point. I thought the small package was kind of like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But I kind of chalked it up to it's Seth Rollins and he's a heel, so he'll win any way possible. Um, but I never thought of it being they switched the match outcome in the middle because of the injury. That's interesting. I'd like to. I would wonder if that would ever break, and we'd find out if that was the case.
Well,
Um,
if you if you look back at the history of WWE, they have a thing for making history. They've given the Undertaker a 20-0 streak, and then boom, they make history with Brock Lesnar ending the streak. Um, you know, they let the Bella, Nikki Bella, be the longest reigning diva, making history, and then Sting being who he is and winning almost every title imaginable. That was the last title he needed before he retired or became one of those, one of the legends that puts people over on top. And I feel like they changed that mid match because, I mean, we all wanted to see Sting in a WWE ring, hoisting the biggest title around. We all wanted to see it. I don't know of anyone that didn't want to see it.
Yeah, no, the only person I know would be Gary, because Gary hates Sting, but it's okay.
Well, you know, well, Gary was just finishing college um, in the '60s when Sting was born. So, you
Ouch.
know, he grew up
Dude,
watching
Gary,
Sting.
he's just gone full heel on you. That's not even cool. Um, yeah, it would be interesting for me if that were the case. And I mean, granted, that probably does happen a lot more than we think it does. Um, that's interesting, man. Man, I would hope somewhere down the line when they're doing like Sting special, and he's like, yeah, they had to change the match mid because of the injury. That would be interesting to find out. Yeah, I would
Well,
love to know that.
for everyone watching, just keep an eye on the Facebook and Twitter page because I'm on the news as far as the WWE Ring of Honor, TNA, all that. I'm posting stuff on there all the time. So if I find anything, it'll be there.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. If you're watching live or you're just catching this on our page, on our website, wherever you're catching this, here's where you can connect with us. You can go to www.theringpostreport.com. That's our main page. You're going to see all kinds of content, written, videos, all kinds of good stuff there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Ring Post Report. Just type it in the search engine or search bar, I should say. And then, of course, Facebook, The Ring Post Report. That'll come up. You'll see all our stuff there. Steve does a fantastic job handling our social media aspect of the show. Yeah, dude. Let's see if there's any rumors going around. Let me check some of these websites. Blah blah blah.
There's a few rumors I could address. Um, we have Carlito is making the rounds in the rumor in the field of rumors here. We got him possibly coming back, which I think would be cool.
I would love that. I've always liked Carlito. I thought he was a great uh, character within the WWE. Oh, I should say this though. So check this out. TNA is coming to Baton Rouge Halloween night, which I think is a horrible decision to have a wrestling show on Halloween.
Yes.
Frankly, because they're going to have low attendance. I mean, who thought through this? However, I'm not going to the Baton Rouge show. I'm going to go down to New Orleans, possibly, and go see the show down there. Jeff Hardy's billed to be there. Of course, several of the other main guys in TNA. I've been to a TNA show before. They're actually pretty entertaining. So I'd be interested to see if that's going to come to fruition.
That should be fun. That should be cool.
Let's see. Blah blah blah
I'm kind of
blah.
jealous though.
So you live up in South Bend?
I am.
Do they ever come? Does anybody ever come up near you besides the WWE?
No, not that I know of. I mean, nothing comes to South Bend as far as wrestling's concerned. They other
Not
than
even wins for the Notre Dame, huh? Did they win the other night?
yes,
They did. Okay, I didn't know. I was just kind of. Are they 2-0?
yeah, I believe they're undefeated so far.
That won't last long. Oh, okay. So back to wrestling. Okay, so the special WWE Network special, which is on October the 3rd, which is a Saturday. John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage match. Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. Non-title match. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. I have no idea why that even matters. A New Day versus Dudley Boys for the title. U.S. Yeah, I already said that one. So, yeah. Okay. So that's the rundown for the WWE Network special on October 3rd. Anything else, man?
No, man, that's all I got. You know, I'm excited to see what they're going to do on SmackDown, and I'm hoping to see Kevin Owens carry that title because right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best on the roster right now, as far as I'm concerned.
I will agree with that.
I'm a huge Owens fanboy, man.
I will say this. I did get to look at the first mock-ups for our T-shirts, our very first T-shirt design. I saw those today. They were fantastic.
I want to see those. That's going to be awesome.
They were freaking awesome. So got this great designer who happens also to be a family member of mine because I'm going to promote all her crap because she's freaking awesome at what she does. But
Do it.
the first, the first T-shirts were pretty cool. So we'll be hopefully have those all finalized in the next couple of weeks. We'll be able to start, slinging out some cool T-shirts of the show. Guys, I do want to make you aware of we are talking a possible scheduling change in the coming weeks. Maybe do a little bit earlier, or possibly splitting into two shows.
Dun,
Interesting. We
dun,
might do that.
dun.
We're working on it. We'll let you know when that happens. Until then, until you hear from us, on Facebook, Twitter, or our website, www.theringpostreport.com, you will still be Wednesday nights 9:30, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. We do need to get Steve in bed because he's on Eastern, and when the show ends, it's 11:30. It's way past his bedtime.
It is, man. I'm getting cranky.
You have some kids too, right? You have a kid, don't you?
I do. I have a little girl. She's been in bed for 2 hours now.
Yeah, mine are up apparently because I can hear them in the background. So whatever.
No, it is what it is. They're wrestling fans too.
None of my,
They're
none of my. Well, my daughter will watch it with me, but my boys won't. They're like, "Dad, really? WWE Network?" I'm like, "Yeah, sit down, shut up." So I've got a little girl who likes wrestling. My boys so far don't.
well,
Well,
I
I say
mean,
that when John Cena comes on, they're all like, "John Cena."
well,
Do,
it is what it
do,
is.
do.
My daughter's she loves wrestling. She's a John Cena fan. She's a Daniel Bryan fan. So yeah, she's learned
Daniel
well.
Bryan.
Yes,
All right, friends.
yes.
Here's the here's the deal. You can catch us at theringpostreport.com. You can also support the show, the ringpostreportshop.com. That's going to be a place where you can buy all of your WWE Network. We've partnered with the WWE so you can help support the show. We get a little kickback from them. So that's always nice. Check us out on Twitter at Ring Post Report, and then the Ring Post Report on Facebook. We've got over 500 people who like the page. We want to bring that up to 1,000. If you like the show, spread some love. Share it with your friends, family who are wrestling fans. Get together every Wednesday night and just watch it live because that's freaking awesome, and it would be awesome or something like that. And then, engage us on social media. Feel free to add us as friends on Facebook and Twitter because we're on there too, personal. And then, I think that's it, man.
That's
You
it.
good?
I'm
Let's
good.
call it night then, my friends. We will be back here, unless you hear otherwise, next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are talking about changing it up, so we'll let you know as soon as that is finalized. And then hopefully maybe next week, if I finalize the T-shirts or the T-shirt designs, we will unveil the very first design for the Ring Post Report T-shirts. That'd be pretty cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so my friend Steve, have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Later, friends. Have a good one. Much love.
Bye.